So today again is a very important topic wherein we'll be discussing when do we enter and exit any particular asset. And all this is on the basis of inflation. Everything that you see, these cycles are created because of inflation. And this inflation is natural. Just like how we have the cycles, the seasonal cycles. We have got summer season, we have got rainy season, we have got winters, back to summer. Likewise, these cycles are also natural. It is not in anybody's control. But the smart people realize it in advance and they position themselves. So all this is the base for it is inflation. So the cycles of all asset classes is created on the basis of inflation, which itself is cyclic. During the initial stages of high inflation, the equity does the best and worst in high to low inflation. This point is important to be noted. You need to remain in the stock market only when the inflation is beginning. And just before it reaches the peak of inflation, you need to exit from there. Again, when inflation is about to kickstart, then you'll be re-entering the markets. And how do we know this inflation data and all that? We'll come back to it. Right now is only theory part. Where do we see all these numbers and all? Is it classes that we are going to see in future. So you can take a screenshot of these points, very important, or you can note it down in the running notes. Give you 10 seconds of time for it. So I hope the point is noted. Now the next slide to be taken. So kindly take the screenshot of this as well. Now inflation. In the early stages of inflation, the best entry time is for the equity, especially metals and cements. Alright. And the exit time is a debt mutual fund. What is this debt mutual fund? We'll discuss about it in mutual fund topic. Right now you should only be knowing what is entry and exit. Then specific to here also we'll be seeing in the next slide. In the middle stages of high inflation, gold does the best from middle till the high inflation environment. So I'm expecting probably from the year 2022, gold should be doing really well because inflation is going to begin, all it has begun. So right now there's no looking back, equity is the best asset class. And as at least we pass 2-3 years, little we can divert the money into gold, not before 2023. And exit time is for the equity. So 2023 end till 2024 is a very dangerous time for the equity market. Late stages of high inflation, the real estate does the best and you need to be exiting from the gold. And again back to early stages of falling inflation, debt funds will do the best and real estate does the worst. Again when middle stages of inflation has come, equity and here debt. So very important slide. In case you haven't taken the screenshot, I'll give you 10 seconds of time. The best part in this market is that how many ever cycles may come, whatever may be your lifespan, whatever may be the micro and macro conditions. Today America may be leader, tomorrow it may be China. Maybe India will become superpower in future. But these things will not change. This is not specific to India, this is specific to global asset class. It's not that only in India the equity will do well, everywhere. When a country is large, it will move with large countries. Small countries like Vietnam and all we can't say. There are a lot of countries whose population is less than 1,000. So don't expect them to move in tandem with the world. They have their own regional issues. The Vatican City population is only 800. Like that, some small islands are there. Population is only 950. Myanmar population is only 8 lakh. Hyderabad's population is 1 crore. So these small countries and all will not be depending upon the global markets. Their growth and all will depend upon their local policies. Like say small businesses. Small businesses may do well even when the country is not doing well. But large businesses like Reliance, Tata Steel, SBI Bank, they will do well when the country is doing well. And the country will do well when the global economy is doing well. Alright, hope this is noted. Now here, specific to here, I mentioned everything. Again, screenshot is advisable. So the equity, the entry time is 2020. Now it should be like 2021. So exit time is 2024. Now again in 2023 we need to review whether we can spend another 1 year, whether the cycle can get extended for an year or not. Pattern is going to be the same. But whether the high inflation is achieved or not is to be seen. The euphoria in the equity market is short and peaks out when there is a conjunction of boom in inflation, equity, bonds, gold and real estate. So whenever you see that all these asset classes are converging at a high point, gold is rising, real estate is rising, bonds is rising, equity is rising, inflation is rising, that means there is immense liquidity printed. A lot of people have already become rich. Money is there everywhere. I should be in fact even adding here as cryptocurrency now. That has also become an asset class. So when everything is booming, the first one to fall will always be equity. So that time is expected to be in the year 2024. 2023 to 2025, gold is expected to be doing well because we are going to reach mid-inflation level by the year 2023. The boom in gold will start with the beginning of inflation and 2 to 3 years post maturity of equity markets. The last nearly 10 years of underperformance is going to be covered in the 5 years. If you observe the gold cycle, 10 years it does not move at all. And then 5 years it moves like anything. So the sharp movement in the gold is only in the 5 years compared to the 15-year cycle. So you need to be in those 5 years. The rest of the 10 years you put your money, you are jamming your money. Real estate. The boom starts in the year 2024, expected to be 2026, the end. So the middle of inflation, when a lot of money is printed and is made in equity and the equity cycle is nearing the end, investors plan to purchase property of the profits made in mutual funds. The last 10 years of underperformance is going to be covered in 4 years. So you may ask, why is a turn of real estate after equity markets? So here you need to understand a point that for any asset class, the dead end is always real estate. That's why it's called as a real asset. Whether you have planned to make money through crypto, you have got made money from equity, you might have made money from your savings, maybe fixed deposit. What is your ultimate target? To buy a house or to buy a land. So that's a dead end. Beyond that, you won't think anything. So that is why whatever the profits that the smart people make money out of the equity, the only asset class that they can think of investing would be gold and silver. And from there also, if money is made, only asset class which is left is real estate. So this real estate boom will always be there. Why? Because that's a dead end. Money what people make will always choose to invest into real estate. You and me may have house, but there are still more than half the people in India who do not have a house. And even if they have it, a day may come where everyone will be having their own house. Still, the money has to be put somewhere. And the ideal choice will always be land, because land is limited. 70% of the world is covered with the water. So there's only 30% land. So because there's a limited supply, the demand will always be there. Because the population is growing. Now debt funds. So debt funds is nothing but your mutual fund, where these are not at all dependent upon the market. So they depend upon the inflation. Their returns are in line with the fixed deposits. Then what is the risk they carry, how different they are from the fixed deposit, all that we'll understand in the mutual fund class. But the real boom of the debt fund starts in the year 2025, expected to end in the year 2027. Now all these numbers may be 1 year here and there. So that we'll again review it in the year 2023, whether this is 24 or 25, whether this is 23 or 24, likewise. But the way that you have to switch your money to various asset class will remain like this. You have exited from equity, gold. You have exited from gold, real estate. Exited from real estate, debt. Exited from debt, back to equity. Like this, when you do it, you'll be able to escape the fall of every asset class. And you'll be able to capitalize on the rise of every asset class. That is where your money will get compounded. That is what the value investors and the smart people do. And exactly opposite what the public does. Public is the one, I told you, it's like a bottom of the pyramid. The last one to enter will only get butchered. The last crowd to enter is the public. Because when things are getting better and better, public first notices it. And then they dig into it in the last step. That is where the smart people plan to exit. That's where the peak is formed. So in equity, back when you invest in the year 2027, there's no looking back till 2040. Now we remain in equity for 80% of the time, only in that pessimism phase 2-3 years. Post euphoria, the pessimism, in that 2-3 years time span only you will be out of equity. Otherwise, in rest of the 80% of the phases, you will remain invested. Now, important point is, in which asset class you need to be invested. In which sectorial stocks you should be invested within equity. There are two types of sectors in equity. Firstly, have a note of it. Old economy stocks or sectors. New economy sectors. So which are old economy? Listen, roti, kapda, makan. This is what is called as old economy sectors. That means the sectors which are there since centuries. An example, telecom is new generation. IT, new generation. So I'll be even giving you some sample stocks also. So talk about IT, talk about telecom, talk about chemicals, talk about pharma, talk about FMCG. These are all new generation stocks. While old generation stocks are nothing but coal, oil and gas, real estate, cement, mining. These are all your old economy stocks. Power. So anything relevant to roti, kapda, makan. Then the banks. Power. Then you have cement, infra. You have got banks. Here also I'll be writing the stocks. Automobile. tires, IT, telecom, likewise new generation, pharma, chemicals, here construction, engineering, mining, metals, of course, most important, FMCG. Likewise, what else do we have got here? Sugar, commodities. So they do well. Old economy stock does well in end of skepticism. So here media like Dish TV, Sun TV does well in end of skepticism phase 2 peak of euphoria. So old economy stock does well from ending of skepticism phase to the peak of euphoria, while these stocks do well in the start of pessimism to end of skepticism. That's why if you observe it from today onwards, whatever the stocks that I'll be recommending will be from these sectors. At least for the next 4-5 years, I will never recommend you the stocks from these categories. These category stocks will also move when the overall broad market is moving, but they will move with double the speed. We want more money to be made. So you should be choosing your portfolio coming from these sectors. Oil and gas is missing here. Here. OMC, that is oil marketing companies. Okay. Now some example of the stocks. I'm giving one stock from each of the sector. In fact, these are the stocks which you can even plan to accumulate. Let me put in order. So Tata Power relevant to power. So first I have power, then cement, infra, L&T. These are all the market leaders. You can directly buy the leaders itself. Banks, IDFC, construction and engineering. So Raj Industries. Engineering, Sadbhav. Mining, NMDC. Metals, the best stock for metals to buy is SAIL or even JSW Steel. Market leader. Commodity like sugar, DCM Steel. Commodity means sugar, the agri commodities. Coal India. Oil and gas, ONGC. So if you have asked me, sir, can you tell me which are the best stocks in blue chip companies, big companies, which I can buy and forget it for the next 3-4 years? These are the stocks you can buy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A good diversified portfolio. But you are covering every sector which is relevant to old economy, and old economy is for sure going to do well in the coming 3-4 years. New economy sectors, automobile, tires. So from automobile I can say Maruti is good. Tires I can say Seat or Goodyear tire is even better, fundamentally strong. You are not going to buy these stocks now. I'll tell you when you have to be buying them. In IT, Wipro is the best. Telecom, Bharti Airtel. We don't have a stock like Jio. In case Jio lists separately, then maybe Jio. In pharma, the best is Granules, otherwise Zydus. In chemicals, Bodal Chemical. In FMCG, Bajaj, Consumer Care. In media, Sun TV, Zee TV, Sun TV. In oil marketing companies, HPCL, BPCL, or IOC, Indian Oil Corporation is also good. So this stocks portfolio will be creating when you re-enter into the market in the year 2027. So very, very important notes here. So in case you haven't noted it down, I'll give you a few seconds of time. Kindly note it. Take screenshot, whichever that you are comfortable with. Alright, hope this is noted. Now, in the next slide, I have clearly given you what should be the entry and exit into various type of stocks, the old economy and the new economy. So 2016 that we have started with the middle phases of skepticism, we are going to end in the end of euphoria by the year 2024. So 2024 we are going to go back to the new generation stocks, but when will we be making an entry? Only when the market crashes, and we'll let 1-2 years for the markets to settle. So according to the 8-year cycle of the switching of the sectors, this is the thing. But according to the market cycle, I told you that 2-3 years it is better not to enter into the market. So maybe 2027 that we enter into the market, you'll be remaining into new generation stocks like IT, pharma, FMCG, NBFC, oil marketing companies, chemicals. Again, back in year 2032, you'll choose the same stock portfolio what I've shown you here. Till 2040, you are going to continue. Again, from 2040 till 2048, back to the new economy stocks. 2048, back to the old economy stocks. So it's not going to be 2048. It's going to be like, sorry, here 2043, because that 2-3 years of pessimism, no point in jamming the money. You are going to remain invested into real estate bonds. into debt funds, and before that, just before after you have exited the equity market, at least for a year, gold and silver. So how do we buy digital gold and silver? What are the bonds? What are the mutual funds associated with it? All that discussion later. So kindly take the screenshot of this. Now I'll be giving you some sample past data returns. How your money would have grown had you followed this pattern of investing 8 year cycle with regard to sectors in the previous bull market. That is 2006, 7, 8, where we peaked out. ACC, cement stock. For the 8 years, it gave very sharp return, 21 times return. Then in the next 8 years, minus 50%. Then again, next 8 years, 4 times. The next 8 years, 90% return. This may not be negative return. However, this is very small return compared to the index, compared to the other sectorial returns. So what it can be happening now? This is what is going to happen now again. But I told you the magnitude will reduce. The returns what you're expecting from the market will always be reducing because the country is growing bigger and bigger. So maybe this time it will be like 3x returns. So even from the present levels, you can expect to get at least 3 times return in the by the year 2024 in ACC. But then these are like the sectorial leaders. You need to first do fundamental analysis to find out in the entire cement pack, is there any stock which is even better than ACC. So I've already given you a name which is Ramco Cement. Why Ramco? That all comparison will be doing in fundamentals. Tata Steel, 5 times return, then 77% loss, then 12 times return, then 57% loss. Now expecting at least 5-6 times return. Here the returns have been less because of high debt. There was some issue with the debt, and Tata acquired some large company of steel of ArcelorMittal, Arcelor Steel. That's where it got trapped. Even in Tata Motors, it got trapped because of the deal with the Jaguar and Land Rover. Otherwise, the other stock like JSW Steel and all have done much better than Tata Steel during these years. Tata Power, 7 times return, then minus 66% during the phase of the new economy stocks. 28 times return, then minus 48. This time, expect at least 5 to 6x returns. The price of Tata Power is 100. Be ready to see it at nearly 500 levels by the year 2024. Larsen and Toubro, 3 times return, minus 15%. 24 times return, 25%. And now expecting at least, right now the price is around 1300, 1400. 5000 rupees is the price I'm expecting on L&T in the coming 3 years. Okay. This cycle is of 1925 till now, which is an inflation cycle. Inflation, interest rate, both go in tandem. So we'll be drawing some technical analysis trend lines to understand how the future looks like for the global economy. What kind of EMIs you would expect in a country like India going forward. All right. Now we are going to jump into the fundamental analysis. So at this stage, we are very clear which stocks we have to be in which year. and how should we be planning to switch to the asset class. So you need to be very clear within the asset class where you have to be. So we know when to enter into the equity, when to enter into gold, when to enter into real estate, and within equity when we are entering, we should know in which sectors we have to be entering in. And then after which sectors, which stocks we have to be buying. For that we need to do fundamental analysis. So fundamental analysis, I told you yesterday that it is like analyzing the company on various parameters. When you purchase a car, you ask them like what is the mileage, how much cc it is, what are the features it has got, where and all the service center is available, whether it is petrol or diesel variant, and whether it has got how many airbags, and all those questions is what you need to ask. Likewise, even before choosing a stock, there are some 8 to 10 parameters on which you need to judge whether the price quoted on the stock is justified or not. Are people buying that stock expensive or not? In fact, any shopping that you do, this is the basic comparison that you do. Whether you want to buy real estate also, same thing applies even here. So give the headline as fundamental analysis. The art of. Alright, so fundamental analysis. The art of knowing the undervalued stocks out of the bunch of the stocks is termed as fundamental analysis. So on various parameters that we check, we finally conclude that sir, in the cement pack, Ramco is best. In the oil and gas pack, ONGC is best. In the mining space, NMDC is best. In the steel space, JSW is best. So like that, choosing the right stocks in each of the sector. So if you are choosing the stocks that offer high degree of safety, example, say we have discussed about the stock called as BN Rathi Securities. That looks very, very safe. You will be a happy person when the company announces that it wants to shut down the business. What else do you need? That's the worst news that you could expect from any company. Even in that worst news, if you are satisfied, that means you have a very high degree of safety there. because you have read through the balance sheet and the profit loss reports and you are very clear what the company has got, what it has to pay. When these two figures are clear to you, then you know that what is the margin of safety. Tomorrow if this business is totally shutting down, if the company clears all the loan, what is the leftover amount with the company? If that value is high, that means your capital is safe. Then it's only a matter of time where this company will be cornered by the big shareholders. It will come under notice by the people who buy undervalued stocks. That will act as a trigger and the price will shoot up in a matter of few weeks and months. That 2-3 years where it did not move, it will cover up within few weeks and with good prospects. So not just margin of safety, the company should be even growing. Only then someone would be able to catch it. So we should not be losing money. At the same time, we should be able to make maximum returns on our investment. That should be the objective behind choosing any company in the market. During the times of market crash, the company should fall the least. But during the times of market rise, it should rise maximum. So like that kind of companies, when you choose, you will not get shaken out during the market falls. And as the market is growing, you will still be satisfied because these companies will be moving with a higher degree of speed compared to their peers, compared to their competitors. So the first thing in fundamental analysis is the market cap. So what is market cap? The total value of all the shares outstanding as of current market price is termed as market cap. I request you to write down running notes as I am typing. So the total value of all the shares outstanding as of current market price is termed as market cap. The size of the company So a lot of people, the habit generally with the retail investor, a very common point with a lot of them is that when I recommend the stocks to them, na, sir, Ramco Cement 1,000 rupee stock, I don't like it. Can you recommend me some company which is very low price code? You need to understand low price code does not mean that the company is small. An example of Yes Bank, whose price is only 10 rupees, now it is 13. It is 13 rupees, but it is bigger than lot of companies whose price is in thousands. That study will be doing. So based on the market cap, the companies can be divided into various groups. Large cap, market cap more than 1 lakh crore. mid cap, market cap more than, market cap between, small cap between 1k to 10k crore, and micro cap less than 1000 crore. Just give me 5 minutes, guys. I've got an important call to attend. I'll be back in a while. Meanwhile, just note down these points. Extremely sorry, friends, for the delay. Okay. So, based on the market cap, the companies can be divided into various categories. A market cap of more than 1 lakh crore is nothing but the large cap companies. Now, if you ask in our exchange of out of 8,000 companies, how many companies are beyond 1 lakh crore? The answer is less than 100. It is anywhere between 50 to 100. And the biggest company in our exchange is Reliance Industries with a market cap of 9 lakh crore. Followed by TCS, HDFC Bank, HDFC, all near 8 to 9 lakh crore. And then we have company like ICICI Bank, nearly 6 lakh crore, Infosys 6 lakh crore. And the list goes on. We have nearly 50 to 100 companies which are very large cap. Mid cap are the companies between 10,000 crore to 1 lakh crore. Small cap anywhere between 1,000 to 10,000 crore. And then micro cap less than 1,000 crore companies. So more than 5,000 companies are micro cap in our exchange. It is always a pyramid anywhere. The top 20 part of the pyramid is more valuable than the bottom 80%. That's why I tell you that in the index we only have large cap companies. Because these top 50 companies will control the entire economy. They're all from different diversified sectors. If they are doing well, then all these mid cap, small cap, micro cap will do well. So whether you want to predict the market crash or anything, always be tracking the top 100 companies. The signals will come there. The great operator Jesse Livermore was an operator in the year 1880s. This guy had written a book called as The Operator. Very beautiful book. You need to read it. There he explains that where and all people will be focusing, the signal of the crash will not come from there. It will come from elsewhere, which is nothing but its components. So later in technical analysis, I'll tell you, you'll be finding a big divergence between the index and the index components. So that's a very clear signal that things are not right. Okay. So we'll discuss on those points in technical analysis. Now, in which type of companies you need to invest? So it is upon your risk appetite. If you do not want to take any risk in the market, you want stable returns, then large cap is good. Investing in large cap stocks means less risk, but returns are also less. Like example, a company like Reliance, from 10 lakh crore, it will not become 5 lakh crore until and unless there is some severe issues with the company, like a big fraud or anything like that. But from 10 lakh crore, it will not become 20 lakh crore also easily. Maybe even in next 5 years, it will not become so big. So the companies are too large to either fall down or to grow. So this is like a big ship, a size of Titanic ship, which cannot move fast, but it cannot sink also easily. That's why out of several big cruisers we have got, only one accident we have heard, that is of Titanic. But mid cap stocks are like mid-sized boats. Relative to large cap, these mid cap stocks are faster in growth but little risky. So when I say middle-sized boats, they can move faster than Titanic kind of ships, but they can drown also easily compared to the big ships. So these are like test match. Investing in large cap stocks is like playing a test match where slow and steadily you'll become wealthy. I've shown you the charts like ACC, Cement and all that. So following the sectorial analysis, following the market cycles, choosing only large cap also, you'll be able to compound your wealth and you'll be able to multiply your wealth. But if you are choosing the mid-size stocks, then you'll be able to make even more larger income. But then it won't be easy because during the market falls and all that, mid caps will be falling severely. So you should be ready even for that. That's why it all depends upon risk appetite. So if large cap is a test match game in cricket, mid cap is a one day game where the runs will come faster, but the wickets will also fall down faster. Small cap, even more risky, but returns are also higher. So this phenomenon is common. High risk, high return, low risk, low return, mid risk, mid returns. So in small cap the risk is high but the returns are also multiple. And in micro cap it is very severe. It is like चले तो चांद तक नहीं तो शाम तक. Either your money can become 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, or it can even become zero. Because these small cap, micro cap companies are like speedboats. They can move really fast, but they can even get drowned. Every day, small ships, boats, speedboats, and all get drowned, but it doesn't come in news at all. Because only 1%, 2%, 5% die. But a big ship like Titanic falls down, it becomes a headline. So this is like a very big ship, mid-sized ship, small boat, and speedboat. This is like your test match, one day match, T20 match, 5 over match. Very soon, how like they are playing T20, maybe after 10 years, 5 over matches will be played. Why? Because that is how. Entertainment. We will get bored even with T20 matches very soon, like how we got bored with one day matches. When one day was launched, it was very exciting because we only had test match, 5 days match. Who is going to spend 5 days? One day is good. And when one day matches went for several years, people like who is going to stay there for 8-9 hours in the stadium? They start with T20 format. As the life gets busy, as people lose patience, as they want more entertainment, as they get bored easily, they'll ask for 5 over match. Whatever is the game, finish it off in 1 hour like football match. So these things are going to come. Now, which form of the game you like? Some people like test match, some like one day, some like T20, some like the 5 over match, depending upon their excitement level, depending upon their entertainment level. So likewise here also. Now, which kind of stocks you need to invest, that you should answer. I can't guide you because I don't know what is your risk appetite. But what are the stocks that you choose in that category, they are going to be the best, that is my headache. You are planned to choose micro cap, I'll make you choose the best stocks in micro cap. But yes, it will be risky. If you are choosing 10 stocks, all the 10 stocks may not rise. But compared to large cap, your portfolio will do much, much better. However, during the market fall, your portfolio will also fall down with the same magnitude. So you have to be ready for that big whipsaws. And if you are a general investor, my advice would be to have a mix of all of them. You can decide your ratio, 50% large cap, 20% mid cap, then 20% small cap, 10% micro cap, whatever the ratio that you want, which suits you. If your income from stock market is secondary income, then I would advise you to focus more on mid, small and micro cap. But your income from stock market is primary income, that means you don't have any other income source, you don't have job or anything, then I would advise you to stick to large cap companies. So that during times of emergency, in case the market is already fallen, you won't have to take a big hit on the capital. The returns will be stable. It is not going to be like 10 times, 20 times. Okay. Now I've given you an example that market cap is the way where we need to judge the size of the company, not by the share price. Let us compare two companies in random. So one public's favorite stock, Yes Bank, and second a very high price stock, say MRF Tires. Firstly, Yes Bank. So do not ever go with the price. The price of Yes Bank is nearly 13 rupees, but I'm not interested in the price. I want to know what is the market cap, because that is a figure which will tell me the size of the company. 33,000 crore company. So when I say Yes Bank, don't think it is a cheap price stock. It's a very big company. 33,000 crore is not small. So how many shares are there under circulation? It is 33,000 crore roughly divided by 13. So there are nearly 2,538,000 crore shares in the market.
Sorry, if
2,000.
you're sharing the screen, it is.
Pardon? Are you not able to see my
Sorry.
screen?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. No one informed me this.
No, it is you, sir. You can see the message.
Okay. No issue. Alright. So here when I calculate it, when I go to money control and I type here the company name, Yes Bank, I get to know what is the market cap here and the share price is there right at the top. So share price is only 13 but the market cap is 33,000 crore. Now what is the formula for the market cap? Nothing but what is the total value of the shares as of current market price. So the formula for market cap, you can note it down. Even for crypto coins also same formula. Market cap is equals to share price into total number of shares. So never you will be finding how many number of shares are there in money control, but you can calculate it if you know the share price and market cap. So the formula for number of shares is market cap divided by share price. So example, Yes Bank, share price is 13, I am taking round figures, and market cap is 33,000 crore. So number of shares is equals to 33,000 crore divided by 30, which is equals to 2538 crore. 2,538 crore shares are there in the market. See, one thing you should always understand in any asset class, it is all the demand and supply rule game. Today the price of gold is 50,000, but price of steel is only 50 rupees. Why? 50,000 that is per tola. This is 50 rupees a kg. Why? Because the supply of gold is limited. You mine 1 tons of sand, you'll be getting only little bit of gold. Not even 1 gram of gold in 1 ton of sand. Whereas if you mine the iron ore, in 1 ton of iron ore, you'll be finding at least 50-60 kgs of iron. So that is why the demand for the gold is higher, but the supply is limited. That's why the price is higher. Anything which is very difficult to get, you must be knowing the price of real kesar. You know kesar. So this kesar is very expensive. Now why it is expensive? Because it is only grown in hilly areas like Kashmir, extreme temperature. Apples, why apples are expensive in fruits? 300 rupees a kg apple. Why? Because apples are grown only in extreme temperature. Can you grow apple in your farm? No. Why rice is only 40 rupees kg, 50 rupees kg? Because it can be grown anywhere, any climate conditions. Why dry fruits are expensive? Because they require particular high degree temperature. So this is the demand supply game. So when the supply is so big, the price to rise will take lot of efforts. Huge buying pressure is required. Huge demand is required. That's why even 13 rupees I say is expensive for Yes Bank because of this overhead supply. These many people are holding shares means at every 1 rupee there will be seller. But the supply is limited. Let's say it's only 1 lakh shares, 2 lakh shares, 3 lakh shares. Today why the Bitcoin price is 40 lakh? Because the supply is limited. Only 2 crore coins are there. 90% people don't even have a single coin of Bitcoin. Those who are having lot of coins, they are not selling it. That's why what is happening? There's a shortage. Why the price of mask during the pandemic, 1 rupee was the price of that surgical mask, went up to 12 rupees, 13 rupees, 15 rupees. The oximeter, real cost is 250, 300 rupees. Even today price is 1000. Remdesivir, whose price is 2500, is being black marketed for 25, 30,000. The fungus medicine, 10 times the MRP price. Black marketing. Why? Demand is more than the supply. Only one answer, that's it. So always buy those shares whose supply is limited. This is very, very important point. If the supply of the shares is limited, someone who is interested in buying, he will have to pull up the share price. Then only that supply will come. Why the price of the land in Jubilee Hills is very expensive? Because limited supply. And if you go to outskirts of the city, very cheap. Why? Huge supply. So everywhere it is demand and supply game. That is why you need to understand. Whenever I ask you to buy any company, never ask what is the share price of the company. Ask me, sir, what is the market cap of the company? That's what a true investor always asks. That's what a matured investor asks. And let us compare Yes Bank with. And to give you how expensive things can be if it is rare. Now, Kesar, as an example, I told you, the original Kesar or the real Kesar, even 10 grams will cost you at least 10,000. 10 grams of Kesar is minimum 10,000. 90% Kesar, what you see in the market, is not the real Kesar. What is the test for the real Kesar? You put just one strand of Kesar in milk. It should get totally dissolved in a matter of few seconds. That's the real Kesar. Even a bit of Kesar will change the entire color of the milk. One glass of milk. But 90% Kesar which is being made, these are duplicate Kesar. Like if you go to this Jammu Kashmir in the houseboat only, they'll sell you Kesar, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees. What they do is the maize is there, the maize juttu, the butta juttu. That they'll cut it, they'll color it, they'll dry it. That color will not go easily. But Kesar color, you put in hand, you'll get that color. The flavor of Kesar, even bit strand you put it, you'll get that flavor of it. That's the real one. But very expensive. Why? Is it a medicine? No. Is it going to cure any kind of disease? No. It's only a flavor, guys, nothing. Only flavor. That's why it is expensive. So what I'm trying to say is that if the thing is not even in use, but because it is in limited supply, there will be value for it. Platinum is not used in jewelry at all. Gold is more widely used. But still the price of the platinum is more than gold. Why? Because the supply is limited. Antique items, price is very expensive. But are they of any use? No, only decoration. Paintings. Will you get any resale value on paintings? Nothing. MF Hussain painting, just one signature of MF Hussain has to be there. Painting cost 50 lakh, 1 crore, 10 crore. Why? Because he has done only limited paintings now. So what I'm trying to say here is that even if you have chosen any company which may be bad, but if the supply of that company shares is limited, one day will come where the price will explode like anything. Operators are active in such kind of stocks only. Operator will not be active in Yes Bank. Why? Because what will you do when so many supply is there? How will he raise the price? He'll say that even if I increase 1 rupee, these 2,500 crore shareholders, even if 1% of them come, 25 crore supply of shares will come. How will I manage? He cannot corner the shares. He cannot manipulate it. If you want that kind of shares where the operator is active, only then the price will rise. There's no use. So you enter before he enters, then only the real money will be made. The most expensive material on this planet is antimatter. I don't know how many of you have heard about this. Antimatter is the most expensive material on this planet. And if you ask me what is the value of this antimatter, you will be totally stunned by the value. Unimaginary value for it. If you Google it, you may get it. Let us see. Value of antimatter. Right now, antimatter with a price tag of $62.5 trillion per gram is the most expensive substance on earth. This is from some official site. Google does not give the answer just like that. $62.5 trillion means you know how much in rupees? Let's calculate. That is for a gram. 62 into 70 into 1 lakh. 1 trillion is 1 lakh crore. These many crores. So units, tens, 100,000, 10,000 lakh, 10 lakh crore, 10 crore, 43.4 crore, which is I think almost the GDP of the entire world. Because America is only 48,000 crore market cap. So even entire world also is on sale. You can't accumulate even 1 gram of antimatter. That is the most expensive element. Why? Because if you dig 1 acre of land, you'll get 1 particle of it, 1 molecule of antimatter in 1 acre of land. What is the use of it? No use, but thing is rare, very rare. Why diamonds are very expensive? Why? Because it is shiny? No. There are artificial diamonds, some artificial diamonds who have got more shine than even natural diamonds. 2 years back, some lab in America, I don't remember the lab name, has started making artificial diamonds which are more shining than even the natural diamonds. But they are not even 10% of the price of the natural diamond. Why? Because natural is natural, supply is limited. So demand supply game should be very, very important in any asset class that you are trading. Because that is where you will understand which stock you have to choose. If you choose such kind of bank which has got such kind of supply, money will not get multiply. Because at every level there will be supply coming. And the supply is coming huge lately, like you are swimming against the ocean. The waves are again and again coming against you and pushing you backwards. That's why if you have observed, market has moved like anything. And lot of stocks have moved with the market, but Yes Bank hasn't. I'm just giving an Yes Bank as an example. Maybe the price of Yes Bank can even double up. But it is a foolish idea to invest in such companies with such high market cap. Look at that. It's totally opposite to other stocks. In the last 1 year, markets have been very, very buoyant, but this stock if you look at even 5 years, price from 393 is down to 30. Though the market is growing like that, look at the market chart. This is the biggest problem with the retail investor. I told you, every second retail person has got Yes Bank. This graph is all moving upwards. From lowest point it has moved to highest point, and this is totally opposite, from highest point moved to the lowest point. And every second person, let me tell you, has got Yes Bank shares. They are looking at only price. At once it was at 380 rupees and today getting at 13 rupees. I asked them what is the market cap. What is the market cap? They are asking. Even MBA graduates, they ask me what is market cap. What should I answer them? I don't have so much time to explain them market cap is this, that. I say that it is your choice, but I don't like Yes Bank. I say only one thing. Anyway, now that you are matured, you can take wise decisions. Let us compare this with another stock, MRF Tires. I'm not saying MRF Tires is good. I'm just trying to compare how the price and market cap is interlinked. So 82,000 share price, but market cap is only like Yes Bank. So Yes Bank price 13 rupees and MRF Tire 82,000 rupees. Today you do a small test. Whoever your friend circle, within your friend circle or within your relations or your family members, whoever is into the stock market, just ask them, Anna, among Yes Bank and MRF Tire, which company is bigger and how much it is big? Believe me, 99% of the people will say that MRF Tire is much bigger than Yes Bank. Yeah, don't you know? Yes Bank is only 13 rupees and MRF is 80,000 rupees. Then you ask them, what is this market cap? Then they won't be able to answer it. Those guys who have been spending in the market for more than 5 years, maybe they can. But 1, 2, 3, 4 years guys, no. For them, the size of the company is nothing but share price. The number of shares of MRF TIE is only 50 lakh in the market. But that of Yes Bank is not in 50, 30 lakh. But that Yes Bank is 2,538 crore. So this MRF TIE, even at 10,000 rupees, people said very expensive, but it became 8 times. Look at MRF TIE chart and Yes Bank chart now. So never, when I say Ramco Cement at 1,000, don't worry, buy it. Maybe you want to invest only 10,000, you buy 10 shares, doesn't matter. End of the day, what do we want? We want our capital to grow, na? That 1,000 rupees stock may become 3,000, but this 13 rupees stock may not become 30 rupees also. So what is the use? Though you may buy here 10,000 shares, but it moves by a rupee with great efforts, you'll make 10,000. But that stock with least efforts can move even 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 300 rupees. So onwards, whenever I recommend the stock, never this answer should come, sir, the price is very high, the price is, give me a stock which is low price. No. I hate low price stocks. I hate it. And if you look at the historical data analytics, most of the returns have come from big companies. Share price with high, where the supply is limited. You can go into Google and you can look at the charts like this, from lowest point till highest point, near to highest point. This is totally opposite. This was at 300 rupees. This was at 35,000 rupees. No one wanted to buy MRF TIE at 35,000, but they wanted to buy Yes Bank at 300. They still want to buy at this price. Why? Why are you deteriorating your money by yourself? Because of lack of knowledge. That's why for share market, knowledge is very important. And this is one such subject where complete knowledge is important. Either you have zero knowledge or complete knowledge, that is better. You have half knowledge, you'll be butchered in a big way. So stock market is one such subject where half knowledge is more dangerous than zero knowledge. So with this statement, I end today's session. So hope it was an interesting one, valuable lesson. Make use of all these points and apply them. If I am giving an example of one company, you do research for 5 companies. That's how you'll gain the grip over the subject. Now, today, this is what your task is. In case you are already holding some shares of any company, find out through market cap whether that company is small or mid or big, and accordingly expect the returns. So Yes Bank is not a micro cap. Yes Bank is not a small cap where people are thinking that the company can multiply the money. It is a mid cap company. And your MRF TIE is not a large cap where people think ultra large cap. Some people say MRF is bigger than Reliance also. I've heard that. So it's a mid cap, same like Yes Bank. So MRF TIE from 80,000 can move to 2 lakh if Yes Bank can move from 13 to 30. Okay. So that's for any kind of questions. Use the audio control of the chat window. That's all from my side.